theory that the people who do the hat on in the weird direction and the right up there with the people who do the weird lip piercing, which is they're fucking with you. Like, it's antisocial. First off, it's saying, here's how most people wear their hat. Nah, I don't wear my hat that way. I wear it in a super uncomfortable, unattractive way that does nothing for me, and it shades the side of my neck. It does not keep the sun out of my eyes. It doesn't keep the hair out of my face. I will fuck myself up. It's right up there with I wear my pants somewhere around mid-crack line, like about half ass crack mass, like my balls died and my pants are flying at half crack. Like, first off, you think it's comfortable to wear pants that are around your fucking hips?
How can you even walk like that?
If a fucking car came around a corner, you'd get run over, and I'd be the first one cheering, by the way. Yeah. No, it's not comfortable to wear your hat. I wear ball caps all the time. They're sort of shaped to fit your head, which does kind of have a direction to it. It's
not just sort of.
Yeah, it's not a beach ball. It's got a little shape to it. And the hats and the caps are made. When you pull them sideways, it's kind of like wearing, it's like wearing underpants where you're going to, stick a leg through where the waist would go and put the leg up around your waist. Like, it's fucking uncomfortable. Now, that's uncomfortable. Also, having multiple hoops through your lower lip. I do not believe aids in your eating, lovemaking, your speech and debate class. It does not help you get a job.
Yeah,
it doesn't help you do anything.
Could help with ziplining.
It's a very subtle way and not so subtle way of going, fuck you. I'm uncomfortable. I want you to feel my discomfort. I want you to feel discomfort. This hat, it's an apparel equivalent to you having a booger that's going in and out of your nose as you laugh like a piston, or you having a piece of broccoli on your front tooth. It's fucking me up. And I know, but the broccoli and the booger you're unaware of. The hat you're in charge of. And you know what you're saying. It's antisocial. It's fuck you. And the lip thing, it's forcing me to go, ow, that looks like it hurts. And then I have to do what if that got caught on something? And then I do that, what if you're eating one of those little mini chops, those little lamb chops? It's like appetizer, you get sauté. You get the sauté spear, and it like somehow goes through there, and it pulled away or something. Or
I'd actually managed to never think about that. But now I feel yucky.
Now you're forced to.
Yeah.
Right. This is an antisocial, fuck you, think about me, and this. And there's a million versions of it. There's a million. There's a tattoo version of it. There's a piercing version of it.
There's a hair color version.
I'm going to wear my hat. I'm going to wear my hair. I'm going to take the fucking baffles out of the pipes of my Harley so you can hear me. There's a hear me, look at me, see me, feel me thing. And my thing is, just fuck off.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
This program is intended for mature audiences only. If you have any homicidal or suicidal feelings, please consult a doctor before listening to this program.
Well, there you go. Yes, you do. 3 p.m. Eastern on the nose in the big city that is New York. And it's time for Tuesday Espresso on this coffee and cigarettes. Yes, and you are with, of course, your host, the one, the only Crash Jesus Taylor, in the house with you today. The one, the only social media goddess, Jenny McCartney, in the booth, pushing those buttons, making us go. Of course, as always, as she should be. Yeah, so we got the Tuesday show, the Tuesday on HTLA Radio Un. Yeah. So what is on the big show today, Crash, you might ask? Well, hey, did you know that it's National Invasive Species Awareness Week? Yeah. Ooh, it's cool, all scientific and stuff. And we've got the skinny on all things bad, okay? Well, a new army of Assyrian Christians, whoever they are, take on ISIS in direct combat. Also, more on Kayla Mueller and that Kayla Mueller story as more mysterious sinkholes. Well, no, they're actually huge craters that are appearing in Siberia. Damn. Wonder what that means. Well, we've got all that and so much more on the show today. And hey, we've got yours truly, Jenny McCartney in the booth, the one, the only Louie Lawless, Kirstie Alley, George Takei in the house. So come on in and grab a cup, have a seat, and indeed, light one up, good friends. It is coffee time. There it is. That'll do it. Yes. Well, once again, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it may be to you. You are, of course, listening to HTLA Radio 1, New York's Best Talk. And coffee and cigarettes today for the Tuesday Espresso on Tuesday, the 24th of February, 2015. 20 degrees right now in Central Park, and sun shining again and still. But, well, yeah, it's 20 degrees. It's like, I don't know, what is that in Canadian funds? Minus 10 or something? Yeah, something like that. It's darn cold. Did I mention cold? Well, I do have to mention, of course, today that this show is brought to you by the fine folks at Tim Hortons, New York City. Now with 8 locations in the city to serve your coffee and baked goods needs. That's right. Always fresh Tim Hortons. Also, what else? Also, well, the show is, of course, powered by Procast, as we know. There we go. Okay, Jenny's giving a thumbs up. We are going live via satellite because that's how he likes it. To the one, the only Mr. Louie Lawless, sitting in Mill Bay Studios in beautiful Mill Bay, British Columbia. Louie, are you there?
You know how to spell my last name on the check, right? It's Louie Lawless.
Yes, we've got that.
Wait a minute, I got lost. H-T-L-A. Oh, H-T-L-A. Hell is that?
Well, that's the end of your illustrious career. Yeah.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Well, you go right ahead. I've got that button standing by.
He needs love, Chris. Come on.
Well, I know.
You got to dispense more love from yourself. All these people are hurting here.
Well, and that's what we're all about, Louie. Dispensing the love.
It's about fucking time. Move on. All
right. Well, moving on, of course, we go to some undisclosed location because Kirstie's just kind of, I don't know, secretive that way. The one, the only Kirstie Alley.
A lot of the times we are happy with each other because we're together and we are our own support system. So, but right now, I mean, I feel good. I feel great to be here. It does give you a viewpoint of, you should freaking feel good to be here.
Well, you know, you damn well should. Yes, and if you don't know that iconic laugh, that, of course, is the one, the only George Takei, coming to us live from his home in beautiful Los Angeles, California. George, thank you for being here.
I think it's a treat to be here talking with you.
Okay, good. We're in pretty good company.
Well, we are. And I look forward to the show every day just because you guys are all here, and it's just how I am.
You know why, Chris? Because you're such a control freak, you don't want anyone to tell you what to do.
Really? Is that? Yeah? You think so, huh?
No, I don't.
Oh, Louie, you're a card. Well, yes, quite the show we have today, isn't it? Yes. And, yes, it's Invasive Species Week.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened in our lives.
Well, no. Well, maybe. Well, no, I don't think. Really? I don't think. Sure. You never know. Let's take a look-see, shall we? This week, of course, is all about invasive species. Yes, local and national organizations are hosting events in Washington, D.C., and across the country today to spread awareness of the spread of non-native plants, animals, and microorganisms. Yeah. Invasive Species Week, REEK Week, you know, it's, well, they wreak havoc on the native environment and have economic costs attached. Chris DeYongi, director of the National Invasive Species Council, told us today it's one of the leading factors in the decline of species and the loss of biodiversity. He said, yes, they can also damage crops, the fishing industry, and individuals' property, he said. Well, there you go. When invasive species come into an environment where they have no natural enemies, they can take over other species and eventually become increasingly hard and costly to control, DeYongi said. And an example of that is the lionfish, a native fish native to the Indo-Pacific region, and the Red Sea, which has taken up residence along the Atlantic coastline. The animal's voracious appetite has contributed to a decline in grouper, snapper, and other reef fish that are native there. Diver removal of the fish by spearing them or catching them in nets has had the greatest success in reducing their population. The fish are edible, too, and more restaurants are starting to serve them on the menus. However, it's an uphill battle because the fish lay in 12,000 to 15,000 eggs every 4 days. Can you say we're screwed?
It's the worst thing that's ever happened in our lives.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would agree there. You know, never mind that divorce. That was nothing compared to this. This is it. We're all going to die. The objective of the National Invasive Species Awareness Week is, of course, to educate people about steps they can take to prevent the spread of non-native species in their area. The program offers various ways to help that include learning about invasive species in your specific region by calling your county cooperative extension office, an educational network of localized and environmental experts, or, of course, you can contact the National Invasive Species Information Center. Also, clean hiking boots, tires, boats, and trailers after being outside in an environment to stop species from hitching a ride on those surfaces to new locations. Don't dump aquariums or live bait into waterways. Don't move firewood between locations. Collect it or buy it where you burn it. Or burn it where you buy it or something. I don't know. Report new or expanding invasive species, of course, to local authorities because there's no better use of 911. Environmentalists and nature organizations are using the hashtag invasive species to share information this week on, of course, Twitter, the international news agency. And there's lots of interesting information there, and there's far too much for me to list on a tiny little show like this, so I will digress, but I invite all of our listeners to check out hashtag invasive species and learn more about their environment and all the things that shouldn't be there. Yes, it's a good thing. Now, moving on to our second story today. I've never heard of these guys before. I'm just going to say that right off the top. It's a new party in town, and they seem to be actually doing something about Islamic terrorists. Yeah, not even kidding. That's kind of stunning, isn't it?
We're 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award, and we didn't.
No, right. Yes, of course not. And that has everything to do with this story.
Oh, I have a bajillion animals, and I have animal wranglers. You know, you have to have people working for you to take care of the animals.
Oh, well, yeah. I would dread doing it myself. Well, an army of, quote, Assyrian Christians aims to fight the Islamic State, and they're actually forming up, weaponizing, and getting into it. Yeah. I've never heard of Assyrians before. Yeah, literally, like ass and Syrian, you just jam them together. Actually, George, you've got a lot of experience jamming asses and Syrians together, right? Anyway, Assyrian Christians in the Nineveh Plains, with the help of a group of Americans, are building a fighting machine to stand toe-to-toe with the Islamic State to preserve their homeland, their history, and their heritage. The Nineveh Plains Protection Unit, or NPU, is a battalion of 350 to 500 men trained by Sons of Liberty International. This is an American-led nonprofit group aimed at stepping in where governments in the international community have failed. Yes, Solly founder Matthew Van Dyke of New York, a filmmaker who became a freedom fighter in the Libyan Civil War and spent 6 months as a prisoner of war under the Muammar Gaddafi regime, said it was a brutal execution of his friends James Foley and Stephen Sotloff at the hands of the Islamic State, also known as IS or ISIL or the Khorasan Group, those fine countertops, that made him focus on his role in stopping the group's spread. The people of Nineveh Plains say they must fight to protect their brethren from extinction, but they also say that they should be funded and treated like any other tribal army, many of which are receiving funds and supplies to fight terrorism in the area. Since they're not, that makes Soli's work even more valuable to the group. We have rights to defend our land, to preserve our holy land, and to preserve our habits and traditions, said NPU official Caldo Ogana. We will not convert the jihadis. It's important that the international community support the minorities, not just Christians here, but also Yazidis, who also will not convert to ISIL, or is. Van Dyke said the lack of outside help convinced him he couldn't sit still while the people of Nineveh Plains suffered. I think if you believe in something, you should get out and do something about it rather than just give a thumbs up to the television from your sofa, Van Dyke said. The Christian community in Iraq has been pushed around for a long time. It needs to stop, and I have the right connections and experience to be able to put something together to help them. So that's what I'm doing. It started with Van Dyke talking to some contacts in Iraq, trying to pinpoint whether these groups were organizing to fight IS. He met with leaders who were talking about putting together an army, namely the NPU, and starting with a secret training facility. Yeah. They're really in a struggle for the survival of their people, because if they can't demonstrate through the NPU that they're able to defend population and that they can keep this from happening ever again, people will not return to their homes, and they will, of course, continue to leave the country. Nobody defended them. Why would they stay? Van Dyke said when the Kurdish Peshmerga withdrew from the area, the people of the Nineveh Plains community were left to be killed and kidnapped. A lot of their women were kidnapped and used as sex slaves and jihadi brides, Van Dyke said. When they were protected, it has often been as a result of, blah, blah, blah. Really? Come on. What are you talking about, jihadis and slaves? Jihadis are slaves. Let's come on. Okay, next window. We're just gonna leave that. It's
the worst thing that's ever happened in our lives.
Yeah, in the history of journalism, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, we've kept you all up to date here at Coffee and Cigarettes, of course, on the Kayla Mueller story from its beginnings there months ago, and most recently, the hero boyfriend. Yes, that great man. Yeah, or not. Story out today is that Kayla Mueller's family now stands behind boyfriend. Well, sure, he's a meat shield. He's the hero. Yeah.
You are a douchebag.
Well, I know. That's fine. I'm okay with that, man.
You know why, Chris? Because you're such a control freak, you don't want anyone to tell you what to do.
Right. Really? Is that... Yeah? You think so, huh?
No, I don't.
Fine, you be that way.
I have compounds for them. I go around when I go around the country, I tour places, even around the world, and I'm going to go look at the lemur compounds to see how the big guys do it.
Okay. Is that where you keep the terrorists?
I think when you see the insanity in things, once I saw the insanity of drugs and really what it was doing to my life, I stopped.
Okay, I understand now.
I want to have monkeys.
Well, and who doesn't? I know I do. Absolutely. So with that, the news story today, the parents of Kayla Mueller say they stand behind Kayla's boyfriend, Omar El-Khani.
You know why, Chris? Because you're such a control freak, you don't want anyone to tell you what to do.
Really? Is that... Yeah? You think so, huh?
No, I don't.
Well, there you go. There it is again. Yes, Omar El-Khani. Yes, and maintain they have no reason to doubt he put his life at risk. Oh man, no, come on. In an attempt to free their daughter. Yes. Oh, get out. Oh man. Well, Kayla's parents, Carl and Marcia Mueller, and her brother Eric spoke to Savannah Guthrie of the Today Show last week about Kayla's time in captivity of the Islamic State, where she remained after being kidnapped in Syria in 2013. In a portion of the interview released today, the Muellers spoke about their thoughts on the man who brought her to the war-ravaged region in the first place. Yes, that hero. Yes. In the past 2 weeks, or past few weeks, I should say, El-Khani talked to the Arizona Republic and several other media outlets about his time with Kayla, offering essentially the same account in each interview, unlike Brian Williams. Kayla, 26, had been living in Turkey near the Syrian border, providing aid to refugees who had fled the country. El-Khani told the Republic that he goes by a pseudonym. He had planned to visit Aleppo to fix the internet connection at a Doctors Without Borders hospital, said Kayla. Insisted he bring her along. The two were kidnapped by masked men while leaving the hospital. El-Khani was later freed, but Kayla, of course, was not. She brings much better money in the Saudi Arabian markets. Yes. El-Khani said he tried to save her by returning to Syria, attempting to win her release by telling Islamic State guards that Kayla was his wife. But Kayla didn't go along with the ruse, he said, foiling her chances at freedom. Ah, yes. That's my... Okay, bye. Next window. What is with these... These aren't stories. Go away. Oh, man. Just a bunch of junk today on Coffee and Cigarettes. It's a good thing we've got to go for our first 2-minute commercial break. When we come back, is there anything good? Oh, hey, yeah, mystery craters appearing in Siberia.
Well, I'm a Shakespeare buff.
George, I know, we'll get to that. Usually you do that when we come back from the commercial, but, well, yeah, who knows. Anyway, gang, we'll be back in 2.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk, HTLA Radio 1.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced from some of the world's most renowned growing regions, abundant with rich, fertile soil? What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it? Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons. Always fresh. Always great tasting coffee.
Man, I've been to a lot of places over these past 50 years. Seen the whole true north strong and free. 'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Cooksville, Stouffville, Bainesville, Bowmanville, Bonnieville, Unionville, Oakville, Dunville, Brockville, Boucherville, Melville, Drummondville, Kentville, Grenville, Morinville, Maryville, Parksville, Stephenville, Sackville, Spring Hill, Westville, Walkerville, hanging on a windowsill. Hey! He said, wow, that's a lot of places. I said, hang on, there's more. I've been to Moncton, Picton, Shannon, Vernon, Stellarton, Hamilton, Nipigon, Nobleton, Yorkton, Brighton, Bolton, Beaverton, Brandon, Edmonton, Walkerton, Wyerton, Granby, Miriam, Gramercy, Charlottetown, Burnaby, Yellowknife, White Horse, Corner Brook, none of it. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I crossed the prairies bare, man. I breathed the mountain air. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere, man. Check it out. Ottawa, Wawa, Mattawa, Chippewa, Moose Jaw, Oshawa.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the
Egyptian cotton towels.
Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York.
Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slick back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor. We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Yeah, or as I like to call it, HTLA Radio Fun. Damn it, it's fun.
Well, I'm a Shakespeare buff.
Yes,
I
George.
went to Shakespeare Institute in Stratford.
You did, yes. And we'll get to that, as we always do. Don't you worry about it. Kirstie, you're still doing the Jenny Craig thing, yeah?
Well, I'm doing Jenny Craig, and I'm the Jenny Craig spokesperson. I did it before. I lost weight. I kept it off for 3 years. Then I started slowly gaining it back. They wanted to help me. You can't really help someone unless they want help. I'm really sticking to the program, and the difference this time for me is that I'm really hard-headed. It's like, I used to be a cocaine addict, right?
Oh, right.
Addict, whatever you want to call him. But I'm hard-headed, so it took me 4 times to go, I'm not doing this anymore. Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. And then the last time I was just like, this is ruining my life. Once I come to that point with anything, that's what I've come to with gaining weight. This is freaking wasting my time, ruining my life. And I'm sort of an analytical person. So it's like, I'm done.
Okay. Thank you. You could have just said yes.
Yes!
Oh, what do you do?
He needs love, Chris. Come on.
Well, I know.
You gotta dispense more love from yourself. All these people are hurting here.
Well, I'm here to dispense the love. 3:25 p.m. In New York City right now. 20 degrees, Central Park, sunny. Don't go outside. Yeah. No, it's just wrong. All kinds of wrong. Anyway, welcome back to the show, the Tuesday Espresso here at Coffee and Cigarettes. Of course, the show being proudly sponsored by Tim Hortons New York City. Now with 8 fine locations in the city to serve your coffee and baked good needs, baby. Oh, yeah. Next up is, interesting, scary, hitting close to home, yet not, yet it's out there, it's around there.
I said too much.
No, you haven't even said anything. Come on, what the hell's going on with that?
No, I don't, because I asked him, I said, well, fly out here and I'll film you.
Hi, okay. I'm with you. I'll go with that. Absolutely.
That's the famous story about Jerry Lee Lewis. You heard that story, haven't you? Sitting behind his desk at Paramount, talking with big executives and TV people, and all of a sudden the chick pops up underneath, wipes off her mouth, and walks out the door, and Jerry doesn't bat an eye.
Well, you got to have those dreams. Reach for those dreams. Yes, the golden years of Hollywood right there.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened in our lives.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. kind of fun on Jerry's side, and I don't think the girl minded. What do I know? I don't know. We're going to move on, damn it. It's about time.
It's about fucking time. Move on.
See, I can say it without the F word, Louie. You should try it sometimes.
Can you give me any help for $25,000?
I think you should talk to Kirstie about that.
I don't know. It was my life dream to be an actress and have monkeys.
Yeah, so sorry, Lou. She's going to spend her $25,000 on the monkeys. Yeah.
You are a douchebag.
Right, yes. I know. So yeah, this story that hits close to home, yet not so close to home. More mystery craters are appearing in Siberia. Yes. More mysterious craters have been spotted in Siberia, and researchers are starting to sound little more than alarmed about the phenomenon. Vasily Boyaganzelemsky, say that 5 times fast, the deputy director of Russia's Gas and Oil Research Institute, says at least 7 suspicious craters have now been spotted, 5 of them in a region known as the, quote, end of the world, end quote, and a satellite image shows one of them at least 20 water-filled baby craters around it. And I would compare this with mushrooms, he says. When you find one mushroom, you can be sure there are a few more around. I suppose there could be 20 to 30 craters more, he tells the Siberian Times. He's calling for an urgent research to prevent possible disasters that could affect cities and oil industry infrastructure in the region. Well, indeed, not just there. You know, we've had these things open up in New York City. You know, there's been people injured, sidewalks opening up, gulping people up. Yeah, so it's not just Siberia. Bogoyavlensky and other experts believe gas emissions possibly linked to climate change are causing the holes to appear more and more, and suspect there are many more to be found. The processes that are causing them to form likely occur over a wider area of the continuous permafrost in this part of Siberia. The chief of U.S. Geological Survey's Gas Hydrates Project tells the Huffington Post she hasn't researched the holes firsthand, but she agrees they demand further study to determine the processes that cause their formation. I guess that's the whole 13-year-old's her holes, her choice thing right there, yeah. Boyaganzelemsky plans an upcoming expedition to the craters. Only one of them has been studied in depth thus far and intends to install seismic stations in the region. Another Siberian find is, of course, Ivan the Terrible's sword in a recent dig around one of these lovely sinkholes. And all over the world, these things, up in Canada, up in the Arctic, in Korea and Hong Kong, in New York here, of course, number of places all across the U.S., number of places in South and Central America. And I believe there's even some opening up in Africa, and so I'm not thinking this is a permafrost thing in particular. I don't know, but it's kind of freaky, and that's all the information we have right now, which is like nothing. It's just nothing.
Use power. That's why power is corrupt, and it is. We see it every day. We see it in every job. It's the same thing.
Well, true, but I don't think Obama is sitting there going, ew, I'm not going to tell anyone why the hole is opening up and swallowing the earth. I'm not going to do that.
I have a house in Florida. The only thing I've ever spent my money on is real estate.
Right, so you got a house in Florida. Okay, so that's where you're calling us from. I bet you. I think that's it.
I've said too much.
Maybe. Well, who knows? Really. Do you have any sinkholes, Kirstie?
Yes.
I bet you do. Yeah. Well, I don't know how long this has been in the making, but hey, news story hits today. No federal charges for Zimmerman in Trayvon Martin death. Well, I guess there'll be more rioting in Andover, Michigan. I don't know. The Justice Department said today in its independent investigation found insufficient evidence to charge George Zimmerman with federal civil rights violations in the shooting death of Florida teen unarmed black Trayvon Martin. Attorney General Eric Holder said the evidence did not meet the, quote, high standard for a federal hate crime prosecution, but the decision should not end efforts to explore racial tensions in the justice system. Yes, because... Oh, man. No, I'm not going to say anything. We'll move on. This man's premature death necessitates that we continue the dialogue and be unafraid of confronting the issues and tensions with his passing, having those brought to the surface. Holder said in a statement, we as a nation must take concrete steps to ensure that such incidents do not occur in the future. And George, you're quite the political activist, you know, and I don't think anybody anywhere, I haven't heard you speak on this before, but what do you think of the whole Trayvon Martin thing?
I wasn't expecting that reaction.
Well, no, I guess. Oh, okay, I'm confused. just lay it on me.
Well, actually, what shaped my life is what happened to all Japanese Americans during the Second World War. Pearl Harbor was bombed, and overnight, American citizens of Japanese ancestry were looked at with suspicion and fear and outright hatred, simply because we happened to look like the people that bombed Pearl Harbor, and we were put in barbed wire American prison camps. They called them internment camps, but you know they were really, for our rights and purposes, concentration camps.
Yeah, okay.
There were sentry towers with the machine guns pointed at us, and when I made the night runs from the barracks to the latrine, searchlights followed us. But for me, as a 5-year-old at that time, I thought it was kind of nice that the searchlights lit the way for me to pee. So I adjusted. Children are amazingly adaptable, you know, and that became the normality in my life. Lining up 3 times a day to eat a noisy mess hall, complain about the lousy food, became routine. And when the war ended, we came back to Los Angeles. Many people did not because they were so embittered by the experience on the West Coast. And as I grew up, as a teenager, I started reading civics books and history books, and I saw nothing in that about my childhood experience.
Right.
But I read the glorious chapters about our democracy. And so I engaged my father in
Mortal Kombat?
Long discussions after dinner, trying to reconcile, you know, our imprisonment during the war and all the ideals that I've been reading about. And my father said to me, our democracy is a people's democracy. It can be as great as a people can be, but it's also as fallible as people are. And our democracy is vitally dependent on good people being actively engaged in the process.
Good luck.
And shortly after that, he took me to the Adlai Stevenson for President headquarters, and he volunteered me. And that's how I got introduced to political activism. It was a lot of fun, but by that time I was starting to understand something about our democracy.
Right, so absolutely nothing about the Zimmerman case, right?
You are a douchebag.
Oh, okay, well, thank you for all of that once again. That was great, thank you. Yeah. Well, if you'll all remember back that far, Zimmerman shot Martin on February 26, 2012, as he walked home after purchasing snacks innocently at a convenience store in Sanford, Florida. Federal prosecutors found insufficient evidence to prove Zimmerman, part of a neighborhood watch group, intentionally violated Trayvon's civil rights. Well, no, he just blew him away. Federal investigators began their decision following the shooting, but halted it once the state began prosecuting Zimmerman for murder on July 13, 2013. A Florida jury found Zimmerman not guilty of second-degree murder or manslaughter, sparking protests in several cities and more Nike Air Jordans. Yeah, free. Burn down the sucker, yeah. Well, a federal investigation resumed following Zimmerman's acquittal in state court. Federal investigators reviewed the evidence generated by Florida's investigation and prosecution, but independently conducted 75 witness interviews of their own and reviewed other encounters Zimmerman had with law enforcement in Florida, the Justice Department said. Federal authorities also retained an independent biomechanical expert who assessed Zimmerman's descriptions of his struggle with Trayvon and the shooting. Prosecutors from the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division, officials from the FBI, and Justice Department's Community Relations Services met today with Martin's family and their representatives to inform them of the findings of the investigation and the decision. Yes, and so he's municipally and stately and now federally exonerated. There you go. So let it go. No more rioting and looting. No more shoes getting stolen. And call that justice for Trayvon. Thank you very much.
Okay, good. We're in pretty good company.
Well, we are. That's right. And when you say something like that after I say something like this, that just affirms to me that we truly, indeed are.
The music is fantastic. Oh, you got to hear it.
I've said too much.
I know. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Well, it seems the Brian Williams thing. Yes, NBC's anchor man. Remember him? Yeah. Well, it seems that Brian Williams' disease, if it were a disease, is spreading. Yeah. Talking, of course, the VA secretary, sorry for false special forces claims. Yes, we'll have that story and so much more when we come back from another 2-minute break. Back in 2.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk, HTLA Radio 1.
Oh, you went to Tim's? Yeah, I got a latte and I got you your French vanilla. Thanks. Très bien. I love French vanilla. Oui, and they are only $1. Really? Wait, why are you talking with a French accent? Oh, I thought we were doing a thing. No, it's because of my French vanilla. Oh.
Indulge in Tim Hortons creamy French vanilla, rich cafe mocha, or irresistible latte. Now only $1. At participating restaurants for a limited time. Small taxes.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
This is Ron.
Hello.
He's the kind of guy who holds the door for people. He never says no to pet sitting for his neighbors. He still helps his friends move. And at work, he loves nothing better than picking up coffees for everybody. Unless, of course, he accidentally forgets someone or gets an order wrong. That's why Ron was excited when Tim Hortons introduced Timmy Run. All he had to do was get everyone in the office to register, input their favorite beverages and how they like them. Now, when Ron decides to make a run to Tim Hortons and he's wondering if any of his friends or colleagues would like a beverage too, All Ron has to do is log into Timmy Run and click on Start a Timmy Run. Then everyone receives an email alert. If they want to get in on the run, they just select what they want. And all the orders get consolidated into one simple list, which Ron can print off or read from his phone when he arrives at Tim Hortons. Thanks to Timmy Run, when Ron arrives back at the office, everyone gets exactly what they want. And no one gets left out. In other words, everyone ends up happy. Very happy. Timmy Run, the coffee run made easier.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor. We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
I nearly got kicked out of a theater. I can't remember what I saw about 2 weeks ago because I was booing and screaming. And the famous story about Jerry Lee Lewis. You heard that story, haven't you?
Yes, we have, Louie.
Mr. T would be proud of you.
That's good to know.
You would have loved the guy. Never drank, never smoked, did drugs, nothing. He had only one obsession, and that was the women.
He just pitied the fool, and yeah.
If you think that you were clever with women, he wouldn't stand a candle with this guy.
No.
Or Muhammad Ali was another one with women. I did 2 films with him.
Yeah.
We were doing a big boxing movie with 200 or 300 people in the stand, and he walked in and decided he stood his macho honcho, and those were all the Muslims in those days. They had those little thin ties and suits.
Yeah.
And he would point at the female. And he went and got him and gave him a note, and every 20 or 30 minutes they would go into his dressing room. But they were only talking about negotiations, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah, it's all about the business, yeah.
It's all about the business, yes.
Yeah, you know, it's always about the business here at HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk. 20 degrees still Central Park, 3:44 in your afternoon with the Crash Man, the one and the only Chris Crash Jesus Taylor in the house, along with the one and the only Louie Lawless, Kirstie Alley, George Takei, and Jenny McCartney in the booth, pushing those buttons, making us go faster and faster with literally every moment that goes by. There you go. So welcome back to the show, and we're getting into our next story here, of course. The VA Secretary is, of course, now apologizing for his Special Forces claim. Yes. I'm suffering from Brian whatever. Brian Williams, that's his damn name there.
You are a douchebag.
I'll stick that in your...
Okay, good. We're in pretty good company.
I'm saying, I bet you, guaranteed. Well, it's true. Veteran Affairs Secretary Robert McDonald has now officially come out and apologized for making false claims about having served in the U.S. military's elite Special Operational Forces, the latest scandal to hit the besieged department. The incident, first reported Monday by the Huffington Post, took place last month as the new secretary participated in an overnight count of homeless veterans in the Los Angeles area. The event is an annual survey of the homeless population, with volunteers engaging with individuals living on the streets to learn about their backgrounds and challenges. You could just watch a documentary from any film student in the 70s. Come on. Jeez, we know this. While I was in Los Angeles, he said, engaging a homeless individual to determine his veteran status, I asked the man where he'd served in the military, McDonald said in a statement released to Military Times late Monday night. He responded that he had served in Special Forces. I incorrectly stated that I had been in Special Forces. That was inaccurate, and I apologize to anyone that was offended by my misstatement. It was actually in the Missouri National Guard. I just threw that in. I have great respect, of course, for those who have served our nation in the Special Forces. McDonald took charge of the VA this past summer from retired Army General Eric Shishensky, who resigned amid a scandal involving widespread problems with VA patient care. Well, why would he resign? That's nothing new. That's the thing, man. That's the VA. Well, a 1975 West Point graduate, McDonald spent 5 years in the Army, assigned primarily to the 82nd Airborne Division. He graduated jump school and Army Ranger training before leaving the service in 1980 at the rank of captain. But he never served in a Ranger unit or as part of any U.S. commando force, the Huffington Post reported. I have no excuse, said McDonald. I was not in the Special Forces. McDonald's nomination to the VA's top post was designed to help restore the department's reputation, of course, after months of scandal. And the former Procter & Gamble CEO has pushed for increased transparency and improved interactions with veterans. Yes, because talking will make it all better. A White House representative told the Huffington Post today that President Obama accepted McDonald's explanation, saying, "We take him at his word." Well, Mr. President, that was the mistake in the first place. Secretary McDonald has, of course, apologized for the misstatement and noted that he never intended to misrepresent his military service. The official said, "We take him at his word and expect that this will not impact the important work he's doing to promote the health and well-being of our nation's veterans." There you go. So I would like to officially state for the record that I am Special Forces. I am all of them put together, and all you've got to do is wind me up and let me loose in Syria. I'll fix it. There you go. The apology is the second major correction for McDonald in the last week. In the interest of transparency, in a February 15th appearance on Meet the Press, he claimed that 60 department workers had been fired in recent months for problems related to the VA's wait time scandal, but later backtracked to say only 8 had lost their jobs. And so look for him to head up NBC's anchor position at NBC very shortly.
You are a douchebag.
I am. I freely admit that, and also a Special Forces operator. That's what I am. There you go. Missionary abducted in Nigeria. Yes. This comes from a Seattle church and their fears that a missionary associated with the Free Methodist Church in Seattle has been abducted in Nigeria. Officials say Reverend Phyllis Sorter was abducted Monday morning from the Hope Academy compound in Imiworo, Kogi State. Imiworo, Kogi State. There you go. Wow. Okay. Church officials said U.S. Embassy, the State Department, and the FBI are working with local authorities. Oh, that's going to work out well. To find and rescue Sorter. According to news agency AFP, Nigerian police suspect a ransom payment as the motive. Well, you think? Really? Do you think it might be linked to those warlords down there? Like I don't know, like everything has been since the beginning of time? Do you think? I think so.
He called me, and he called me, and he kept calling me, and I wouldn't answer the phone.
I don't know who that is.
No, I don't, because I asked him, I said, well, fly out here and I'll film you.
Right. Oh, okay. I guess you're talking about the good reverend who's a woman.
Okay, good. We're in pretty good company.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes!
Well, anyway, Sortor is an alumna of Seattle Pacific University. Never heard of it. And I come from around there. Her stepson, Richard Sortor, attended a prayer service at SPU on Monday night and told reporters, quote, "She believes in God. She's doing God's work." Wonder if that includes being beheaded. He said, "Thank you, Lord. Oh, yes, you want me to be beheaded? Okay, I'll stand over here."
You are a douchebag.
Yes, I am. Kogi State is the central part of Nigeria. Yes. The country's African-most populace has been struggling with attacks and mass kidnappings perpetuated by the Islamic extremists Boko Haram. Nigeria earlier this month postponed its February 14th presidential and legislative elections to give way to more drug lords and war.
You are.
I know. You don't need to say it anymore. We all know. We all know. Yes. Well, to give a new multinational force, of course, time to secure northeastern areas by way of Boko Haram, to have that completely legitimate and fair and, yes, dare I say the word, democratic election process in Nigeria to continue. Yeah.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened in our lives.
I know.
You being Catholic, you realize that you can't have birth control. You realize that?
Yeah. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Speaking of birth control, Kirstie, you're dating, right?
I've been going out on dates.
Yeah.
I'm not a good date.
No.
Because if I'm not interested in them very much at the beginning of dinner, I just, not mean. I'm not mean, but I'm too aloof. You know, it's like if they said something and if a guy's not funny and they think they're funny, I'm like,
I think George Takei is turned on by Captain Kirk. Yeah.
Do you think I'm sexually aroused by Mr. Shatner?
I do.
You are.
Oh, man. Really?
Douchebag.
I know, yeah. Well, I may be, yes, but at least I'm not turned on by... no, I guess I am. Yeah, he turns my crank. Oh,
it's the worst thing that's ever happened in our lives.
No, it's not. No. Anyway, moving on to our last illustrious story of today, and it's just been an is kind of day, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. The good old Islamic State. Yes, the beast apparently keeps growing. The Islamic State has been ballooning aggressively for well over a year now, and the question posed 3 months ago is whether we are ready to face the truth about this next generation of terrorists. I raise the question because the threat posed by the is exceeds in complexity anything we've dealt with since the Cold War. If facing the truth means a strategy capable of eliminating this scourge, the answer has to be, we're not there yet. What would it really take to get there? Well, here are some realities that any plan needs to take into an account. The best continues to grow. The beast. Yes, the best beast. The big, bad, best beast.
All right, go a half an hour. Do I get 50,000?
No, Louie, stop. 3 months ago, reports from U.S. officials suggested IS was attracting 1,000 fighters a month. Well, there is no sign that this has let up. A senior intelligence official this month said that there are now about 20,000 foreign fighters from IS in 90 different countries. Contrast that with the U.S. estimate 6 months ago of about 14,000. Of course, our data is imprecise, but most estimates suggest we're facing down more than 20,000 fighters. The anti-ISIS coalition is not even close to matching this rate of growth. Certainly, the coalition will begin training local fighters next month, but that's comparatively a drop in the bucket. Meanwhile, in the last 3 months... Really? Okay, wow. What am I missing? We know they're in 90 countries. We know there's 20,000 of them. You probably got a good idea where those 20,000 are spread across those 90 countries. I think, don't get me wrong, but I think just our army alone has more troops than that. Let's send them and go and get it done with. Hello. I'm just thinking.
Okay, good. We're in pretty good company.
Oh, yes, of course, we are. Well, terrorism in the age of is becoming a dangerous network of networks. Yes, now we got to fear the network of networks. And those connections create a complex web of powerful capabilities for recruitment, training, and logistics. We're no closer to having a Syria strategy. No matter what successes we have against ISIS in Iraq, its drawing power will not be diminished as long as the region's Sunnis continue to see their brethren, who make up more than 70% of Syria, abused by the Assad regime. The Sunni grievances from underlying architecture of the is, and they are fortified similarly by the similarly alienated 25% of Iraq that is Sunni, a group that remains unconvinced. Prime Minister al-Adabi's Shia-led government is any more trustworthy than the preceding al-Maliki government. As we watch Assad's grip on power tighten, these complexities pull us in so many different directions that we can simply not settle on a policy. We want to get rid of Assad, but doing so would only strengthen ISIS in Syria and alienate Assad's ally, Iran. And though we don't like to admit it, Iran is essential to combating the is successfully in Iraq. In fact, some accounts suggest that Iranian-influenced militias and commanders might be among the most effective combatants in taking down ISIS. In a narrow sense, this works to our advantage, but the Syrian policy that discards Iranian interests could create an anti-U.S. backlash among militias that they control in Iraq. If ever our diplomats faced three-dimensional chess, this is it. It's a whole freaking nightmare. It just really is, and it's not going to get any better. We need something to take our minds off it, I think.
I like doing interviews when people ask me questions that no one else asks me. If it's the same question that I'm asked, I think I turn into a robot. I'm going to make you a deal. When I am having sex, I am going to call you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to call in. I'm going to have early morning sex. All the sounds that are appropriate. If the guy's bad, I'm going to go, this guy cannot a tree.
Oh, my. Yes, there we go. Well, that would definitely take our minds off it, Kirstie. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be a good thing, I think, as Martha, the convict Stewart, would say. Well, anyway, gang, guess what? Yeah, it's that time again. There's the music. We got to go. Louie, any parting thoughts?
He needs love, Chris. Come on.
Well, I know.
You got to dispense more love from yourself. All these people are hurting here.
Well, I'll try. Better luck next time. Kirstie, again, thank you for coming by again today. It was great having you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome.
I've said too much.
Again, you didn't hardly say a thing. And, of course, George Takei, the one, the only. Thank you, my friend, for being here and giving us your incredible political perspective.
I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
Uh-huh.
It has been a fantastic experience.
Well, there you go. See? Oh, you were just kidding and not really.
You are a douchebag.
Okay, good. We're in pretty good company.
Well, we are, Kirstie. Thank you, and we'll catch you guys all tomorrow. And we'll catch all of you out there in listener land tomorrow for another Coffee and Cigarettes, the Wednesday Grinder. Yes, do your hump day right and grind it away the Coffee and Cigarettes way. There we go. I made a thing. There we are. Special thanks again to HTLA Radio 1 New York, of course, for having us on, us crazies, psychopaths. And look forward to seeing y'all next time on Coffee and Cigarettes, 3 p.m. Eastern. Coming up tonight on HTLA, of course, is the one, the only Crash Talk with, yes, yours truly, Chris Crash Jesus Taylor in the house, serving up some whoop-ass on Sweden. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I'm gonna whoop some Swedish ass tonight. So be sure to check that out. Check us out everywhere: iTunes, iHeart, you name it. We're there. We fart. All that. I don't know. Yeah, we're everywhere now. Yeah, millions and millions listen to our show now every day, and I think it's great that I'm spreading the imbecile. Anyhow, from all of us and, of course, Jenny in the booth and the rest of us at HTLA, have a great day, and we will catch you tomorrow.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.